Know your place, Granny.
A black old woman walked into class, calm, quiet, and unaware that the lesson she was about to teach would never be found in a textbook. Her name was Mrs. Lorraine Brooks, 60 years old, with silver strands in her hair and eyes that carried a lifetime of patience. It was her first day as the new teacher at a school filled with privilege and arrogance, a place where money spoke louder than manners. The students laughed at her age, whispered slurs about her skin, and one arrogant boy even yanked her shirt, tearing it open in front of everyone. They thought humiliating her made them powerful. They had no idea who they were dealing with. Because that woman wasn't just another teacher trying to survive spoiled rich kids. The classroom buzzed with the careless laughter of privilege, the kind of laughter that fills a room when no one expects consequences. Phones flashed, gum snapped, sneakers tapped. Every seat was occupied by the sons and daughters of power, children raised to believe the world revolved around their comfort. None of them noticed the quiet presence at the front of the room. A black woman stood by the chalkboard with her hands folded neatly in front of her. Her eyes were calm, her shoulders steady, but the moment she turned her back to write her name, a sharp voice cut through the noise. "Who let Granny in here?" The words dripped with mockery. A blond boy in designer clothes leaned back in his chair, sneering. His friends snickered behind him. "Must be some charity program," another muttered. "She's too old to teach us." The teacher, Mrs. Lorraine Brooks, paused. Her chalk hovered midair. She had seen prejudice before, but never this brazen. When she turned, her gaze was unshaken. "Is there something you'd like to share with the class?" she asked, her tone even, composed. The boy grinned. "Yeah, we don't take lessons from washed-up old ladies who probably cleaned classrooms before teaching them." His friends burst out laughing, echoing his cruelty. A few students shifted uncomfortably, but said nothing. Then, without warning, he stood up and reached forward and tugged at her blouse. The sound of fabric tearing echoed across the room. Gasps filled the air. One girl covered her mouth. Another looked away, ashamed. Have you ever seen someone disrespect and humiliate an old person because of their age? What would you do if you were in Mrs. Lorraine Brooks's shoes? Calm, outnumbered. Before we go any further, tell us where you're watching from, your city, your country. Drop it in the comments below. We love seeing where our viewers are tuning in from. And if you believe that dignity and strength never grow old, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. Because this is one lesson those bullies will never forget. The boy stepped back, smug, expecting her to crumble. But Mrs. Brooks didn't flinch. She didn't scream. She simply fixed her torn shirt with trembling hands and looked straight into his eyes. "You think humiliating me makes you powerful?" she said quietly. "You're about to learn what strength really is." The boy rolled his eyes, trying to look brave. "Whatever, Grandma, you'll be gone by Friday." His friends chuckled again, but something about her calm unnerved him. She didn't look afraid. She looked certain. None of them knew that the woman they mocked wasn't just a teacher. Before stepping into this classroom, she had spent decades mastering an art few could handle: discipline, respect, and control. Lorraine Brooks wasn't weak. She was a former national judo champion. The room fell into an uneasy quiet. For the first time, the laughter sounded forced. The main bully, Chase Whitman, puffed his chest out to keep control of the spotlight. He couldn't stand that the old black woman hadn't broken down. That calm stare of hers made him feel small, and that terrified him. "Don't just stand there," Chase barked, forcing a laugh. "Come on, teach us, Grandma. Maybe start with how to iron your clothes." His friends roared with fake amusement. Another boy muttered something under his breath, something cruel, racist, and a ripple of laughter followed. The air thickened with arrogance and tension. Mrs. Brooks didn't flinch. She'd spent her entire life dealing with people like this, men who thought age meant weakness and boys who thought color defined worth. She looked at the chalk still in her hand and set it gently on the desk. Her voice was soft, but steady. "You may think your money makes you untouchable, but life has a way of teaching lessons you can't buy." That only fueled Chase's anger. He took a step forward, his grin sharpening. "Lady, you're in our school. You don't belong here. Go back where you came from." That line crossed the final line. A few students shifted in their seats, uncomfortable now. The tension felt alive like static before a storm. Chase reached out again, aiming to shove her shoulder, but this time she moved first. In one smooth, practiced motion, Mrs. Brooks pivoted on her heel, caught his wrist, and redirected his own force. Before anyone could blink, Chase was off his feet, weightless for a split second, then thud. He hit the floor with a heavy crash that rattled every desk in the room. Gasps erupted. Phones slipped from hands. Chase lay on the ground, staring up, stunned, his designer jacket twisted and pried in pieces. Mrs. Brooks exhaled slowly, not out of anger, but control. In judo, she said calmly, we learn that strength isn't about size, it's about balance, something you clearly lack. A hush swallowed the class whole. No one dared laugh. Even the ones who had mocked her seconds ago sat frozen, their worlds suddenly rewritten. For the first time that morning, the students realized this woman wasn't someone to ridicule, she was someone to respect. For a heartbeat, the only sound in the room was Chase's ragged breathing. His friends stared, their arrogance crumbling. He tried to push himself up, but the teacher's voice stopped him cold. Stay down until you understand what you did, Mrs. Brooks said quietly. Her words weren't a threat, they were command, wrapped in calm. But another white boy, taller, broader, with a gold chain gleaming at his neck, shot up from his seat. His name was Ryan Alden, and he wasn't about to let his friend look weak in front of the whole class. Who do you think you are, putting your hands on him? He snapped. You better remember your place, old lady. Ryan lunged forward, his chair scraping hard against the tile. The class gasped. But Mrs. Brooks didn't retreat. She stepped into his attack. Her movements were fluid, almost graceful. One quick pivot, one clean hook under his arm, and with the faintest motion of her hip, Ryan's legs flew out from under him. Boom! His back hit the floor, echoing through the stunned classroom. The boy groaned, clutching his shoulder. Chase's jaw dropped. Mrs. Brooks stood over them both, her torn shirt still hanging, her breathing steady. Strength, she said evenly, isn't about how hard you hit. It's about how much control you have when you want to. A few students clapped before stopping themselves. Others exchanged nervous glances, unsure whether to cheer or hide. The same group who laughed earlier now stared with something new. Not fear, but respect. A girl in the front row, Emily Turner, whispered, "She just took them down like they were nothing." Mrs. Brooks turned to the rest of the class, eyes firm but kind. You've spent your lives believing the world belongs to you. But one day, life will challenge that belief, and the only thing that will keep you standing is respect. Without it, all your privilege means nothing. Chase and Ryan crawled back to their seats, their pride bruised worse than their bodies. No one dared speak. Even the ones who had whispered racist jokes now sat frozen, heads low. And for the first time since she walked in, Mrs. Brooks wasn't just the new teacher. She was the lesson itself. And if you believe age, color, or background should never determine a person's worth, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc. Because some lessons don't come from books, they come from justice.